Welcome, everybody, back to the Big Easy Blitz podcast. This is episode 30, milestone, small milestone for us too. In this episode, we will be doing fantasy football. The NFL is right around the corner. I want to say even the first preseason game is what, soon?
Next week.
It's
Next
next
week.
week. Look at that, the Hall of Fame
hmm
games next week.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so before I hand it over to Brock, I would like to say, please like if you're listening on YouTube and subscribe and follow us on all socials. That is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So tell a friend to tell a
Yep.
friend at Big Easy Blitz. And with that being said, Brock, what you got?
Yep. Kind of t touched on everything there. This episode kind of hits home for us because this is the first episode that me and Connor did on our own. If you're a fan of the CD and Sam podcast, if you remember a year ago, this was the first time that me and Connor did a pod on our own without Sam, and look where we've come now. A year later, and we're doing it again.
Yep.
What we're gonna do in this video is Connor and I are gonna give eight sleepers slash guys we like this year in fantasy. Not obviously it's like guys in lower rounds. Obviously, we're not gonna mention
Middle
Jamar
to low
Chase or
rounds.
Saquon
Yep.
Barkley. And then we're gonna do five people to stay away. And yeah, that's really gonna be it. And then we'll kind of just talk some ball, talk some fantasy, some guys coming up this year, how we
Some
think we're gonna
Saints
do.
uniforms.
I'm gonna brag a little bit. Last year I did win two fantasy leagues, so two fantasy championships. So we'll see. I think I might know what I'm talking about. That'll probably come back to bite me in December, but doesn't matter. With that, we'll get it right into it. Connor's gonna go first. We're gonna do 4 and 4. So he's gonna give his top four guys he likes. And then I'm gonna do my top four, and then we're gonna do the bottom four by bottom four. I just mean the next four,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna do our five guys to stay away.
Yep.
So Connor, let's kick us off.
Yeah, so the first player that I really do like this year is a fan favorite of mine. That is Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mhm.
He's getting drafted around the 45th pick, and quite honestly, I think that's just way too low for him. He put up great numbers last year, with a much more crowded wide receiver room. The Seahawks lost DK Metcalf to the Steelers, and they lost Tyler Lockett to the Titans. Now, sure, they brought in Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp, I think it's fair to say, is in the twilight years of his career.
Mhm.
And they also brought in Sam Darnold, who obviously had a huge year last year with Minnesota, and he got paid by Seattle. And I'm expecting Smith and Jigba to have a huge year. Honestly, I'd say he could probably win your league if you can get him in the fifth round or so, depending on how many people are in your league. Moving on, I have Iowa State's finest, Brees Hall. He's getting drafted at number 44 last year. I want to say Brees Hall even was Brees Hall picked like in the first round last year?
Yeah, he was picked like fifth or sixth in our
Yeah.
league.
I think Tyler took him like fifth overall
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that.
But I don't think him dropping from 5 to 45, I don't think that's reasonable, especially since they brought in Justin Fields. Now, sure, Justin Fields will be taking some of the rushing volume in that backfield, but I feel like that's just going to open up more space for Brees Hall. I mean, look, you saw that last year with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Both had monster years, right?
hmm
So
hmm
I think Brees Hall can have a monster year. I don't think Braylon Allen will eat too much into his workload,
Right.
especially if Brees Hall can stay on the field. Because, I
And
mean, when he plays, he's explosive.
right. And last year, even with Justin Fields, Najee Harris had probably one of his better years in the
Yeah,
league
exactly.
with Justin Fields as quarterback. So I agree with that.
Yeah. And then, so moving on, we actually have a guy I just mentioned, DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's getting drafted around the 50th overall pick. Um, and so, I mean, obviously the Steelers had crazy quarterback woes last year.
Mhm.
Justin Fields did pretty well, but obviously they wound up turning to Russell Wilson, who I don't really know what Russell Wilson's going to do with his. What team is he on now? The Giants, right?
Giants.
He's on the
Yeah. I
Giants.
don't even know if he's gonna be the starter yet. They haven't even announced it.
Yeah, they got a ton of guys over there.
hmm
But they brought in Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, obviously, he's like I said about Cooper Kupp, he's in kind of the waning years of his career. But Aaron Rodgers can get his guy the ball, and DK
hmm
Metcalf is going to be his guy.
For sure.
The targets are going to be there. Now, look, I know the Steelers' offense is usually boring, but they lost Najee Harris. So that kind of like um, hard-nosed style of run the ball football is gone. I know they drafted some guy. I don't remember his name. Brock, if you could look that up for me real quick, that would be nice.
Wait,
But
what team? The
who the
Giants?
Steelers drafted? They,
Okay,
they
yeah.
drafted a running back. His name eludes me, but they obviously still have Jalen Warren, who I mean, Jalen Warren obviously is a more elusive back, but
Was
I
it was it RJ Harvey before
it
I looked
might
it
it
up? It might
might
have
be
been
him.
RJ.
It might be him. Fact check it though.
I'm looking up right now.
Um, but I really do feel like the targets will be there for DK Metcalf. And I mean, obviously, we've seen it before when he was in Seattle. He's a explosive wide receiver. What you got?
Uh, they drafted a defensive lineman in the first round.
No, not in the first
I
round.
okay. All right, I thought you meant first round. Hold
No,
on.
no, no. They
Apologies.
drafted
Oh, Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson
yeah,
from
there you go.
Iowa. That's who it
Yes, the
is.
Iowa guy. I'm not too familiar with him, but I don't think that the Steelers will be that kind of typical Pittsburgh Steelers football, hard nose, run the ball up the middle, and especially with Aaron Rodgers, I think they will definitely air the ball out more.
Hmm.
Um, so that's my reasoning for DK Metcalf. Also, I feel like just 50 is like really low for DK Metcalf for some
For
reason.
sure.
Um,
I agree.
next, my last and fourth guy, and then I'll get into four more after Brock goes. I have Ted McMillan, rookie from the Carolina Panthers. Simple. He's going to be the guy. Xavier Legette, I'm not a believer in him. Ted McMillan's going to be the guy. Bryce Young, we saw it at the end of last year, took huge steps forward in his
Hmm.
progression. Um, and simply the Panthers will be better. They'll have the ball more. Uh, Favorable schedule playing in the NFC South, one of the weakest divisions in all of football.
Hmm.
So Ted McMillan's going to get the targets. There's going to be plays drawn up for him. And if you can, he's getting drafted at around like the 75th pick right now. If you can get him at 75, dude, I'm telling you, you're going to be set.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's actually a good segue because I'll start with that. I also had Ted McMillan on my guys that I like. I did a little different than yours. I had like where they were in their position rankings, not where they were getting drafted.
Mm.
So Ted McMillan's going off at wide receiver 34, which I
Whew.
think is absurd. I think that's a easy either wide receiver two or flex option in late rounds, probably the eighth, seventh or eighth round, somewhere back there. Maybe a little later than that, depending on how many people in your league. So everything you just said, you just touched on it. Adam Thielen's old. I think Xavier Legette is a better wide receiver two than he is wide receiver one. And Bryce Young's getting better. And I think the Panthers could be sneaky good, not like playoff team, but they could be a pain in some people's side, like a thorn in some people's side for some teams.
I think the Panthers will be solid this year,
Yeah,
competent.
I think they'll be better than the Saints, which isn't saying much. Speaking of the Saints, Saints got new jerseys. I don't know how to feel about those. We'll touch on that at the
Yeah, we'll
end.
get into them later.
My next player, who is a very popular name, who I was very shocked that he was this low, is Chase Brown, who is at running back 17. That's shocking to
Really?
me. I'm pretty sure he finished last season as a top 10 running back, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not because he got injured. But when I saw him at 17, it really shocked me. He's actually one spot below Breece Hall, who was in your sleeper. So that's kind of crazy. Looking at it right here, last year he was RB. It doesn't say, whatever. But yeah, that's definitely a guy in late
He was a
rounds who could
monster
be,
last year.
yeah, who could be a RB1. I mean, like that's not even far-fetched to say. I mean, with his receiving ability, with Joe Burrow, and I'm pretty sure they just got rid of Zach Moss, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
he's
If
with
not, I
the
don't.
I don't know, but he's not
We
going to be
don't. Yeah,
effective.
that doesn't even matter. I'm definitely taking Chase Brown in late rounds if he's there. I mean, if I see Chase Brown in the fourth or fifth round, that's an automatic pick. Like it's no brainer. My next guy, also a running back, is Omari and Hampton for the Chargers, going off at RB21,
Oof.
which if you want a good RB2 option in a John Harbaugh led offense, something to look at. He loves to run the ball. We saw that at Michigan. We saw that last year. J.K. Dobbins had one of his best years in the league. I'm definitely looking to take him, especially with Najee Harris going down. Some people forget Najee Harris is on the Chargers. He's
My king.
injured. Yeah. Actually had him on our thing last year, and he had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Amari and Hampton late if he's there, if I need a running back. I think you should too, because that offense is built around the running back. And then my next guy, my final running back is Dylan Sampson for the Browns at RB 58. Just kind of like a throw in the dark kind of guy, very, very huge sleeper. Obviously, we know what happened with Quinshawn Judkins with the Browns. So I think Dylan Sampson slides into that RB1 role with Nick Chubb leaving. Um, Maybe Jerome Ford, but I don't see that happening. Um, I think this could be a good late, like super late round grab that could maybe be your RB2 or flex option at the end of the year, depending on how many people in your league. Yeah, that's my four, and I'll let Connor take over his next four, and then I'll get into mine.
I really like the Omarion Hampton one. Because I mean, you mentioned J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins was like many people thought his career was going to be over
Hmm.
with all the injuries he's had, and then he goes into that Harbaugh system and absolutely flourishes. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess if you're a competent running back in the NFL,
yeah.
really anybody could flourish in that system.
Hmm. And I
Uh,
would have had Najee. I would have had Hampton slash Najee, but Najee's hurt right now. That's why I didn't have that.
yeah, I think he's going to be good for the start of the year, but
Yeah, probably. I'll have it. Yeah, he'll be fine.
yeah. For my next four fantasy players that I like this year, I have Chris Olave. Shout out wearing his jersey right now from Ohio State. He's getting drafted at number 80, at like the 80th overall pick. Simply, that's too low for a receiver the caliber of Chris Olave. I mean, obviously the Saints have Rashid Shaheed, the deep threat, but Olave's the guy. Intermediate routes, the short routes. Chris Olave is your guy. He's going to be Tyler Shuck's main target, assuming he will be the starting quarterback.
He will
Um,
be.
and and the main thing with him, with Chris Olave, is just staying on the field. I mean, last year he had all
Hmm.
those concussion issues. I'm praying that those are in his past and he will wear the Guardian helmet and he will be all right. But if you can snag Chris Olave at the 85th, 80th pick where he's going, even like after that, even if some people like he could win your league. I'm telling you, he could win your league if you get him as your if Chris Olave is your flex option and he winds up staying healthy. I'm telling you, he can do dividends for your fantasy team.
Connor
Um,
actually took him, I think, 12th last year or something crazy like
I
that.
took him 15th, I think, because I had the 13th pick. No, 16th. Sorry, I took Pacheco 13th and then Olave 16th.
Yeah, who
So,
won that league? Who won that league though?
yeah, Brock, you did.
Oh, thank you.
I have a issue with fantasy. I often pick with my heart instead of my head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to change that this year, but we'll see.
I mean, it
Um,
hasn't failed for you. You haven't lost yet.
I
So,
have not lost. You're right. And actually, 2 years ago, I had a very good team. I lost in the semifinals, I want to say.
hmm.
But
Hmm.
my next guy is Jacoby Myers. Look, shout out Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I will give Andrew a shout out here.
He's gonna
Uh,
like that.
Jacoby Myers getting drafted around the 90th pick is unbelievable.
I didn't even see him on the board when I was doing this. Now that you
The-
say that, that's crazy.
yeah, Brock, he was a top. I don't know exactly what he finished last year, but I would say he would finish the top
Top
15
20.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, top
Yeah. And that was
15-ish fantasy
and
wide
that was
receiver.
with Aiden McConnell as
That was with
quarterback.
Aiden McConnell. Now they have gunslinger Geno Smith
Hmm.
behind center. So I really do like Jacoby Myers this year. And yeah, sure they drafted Jack Besh, local kid. Shout out Jack Besh, but he's going to get Jack Besh will get his targets. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
Jacoby Myers will be the alpha in that receiver room. And with that huge of an upgrade at quarterback, I think Jacoby Myers is poised for another big season.
For sure.
And obviously, Brock Bowers will still get his own, but I mean, the two played together with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew last year, and Jacoby Myers still ate. So I think the Geno Smith signing is going to be huge for a guy like Jacoby Myers. Moving on, I have Justin Fields as my third guy.
Hmm.
This is the only quarterback I have on here. I wanted to stay away from quarterbacks, but I feel like Justin Fields is kind of too like I just needed to put him in because I felt so strongly
Right.
about him.
Yeah.
He's getting drafted like I didn't even see him. He was like 130 plus. Like the thing I was looking at had like up to 130 and Justin Fields wasn't even
Hmm.
on there. So I mean, with Justin Fields, with his legs, I mean, just his rushing upside alone, I feel like should get him top 14 quarterbacks at least, and I do believe that the Jets will be better this year. This is the most amount of talent Justin Fields has ever had around him in his career. He has Garrett Wilson, he has Breece Hall. Not too much outside of that, but that's still more than he's ever had. Uh, but I mean, Justin Fields with, like I said, with his rushing upside, I really do feel like if you can get him, even as a backup quarterback, just to have,
for sure.
I feel like he will definitely eventually crack your team as long as you don't have your starting lineup, as long as you don't have like Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts or one of those top end
Hmm.
quarterbacks. I think Justin Fields is going to be a sleeper, one to certainly look out for. And then my final guy, local guy, local fan favorite, Alvin Kamara. Uh, the same thing happened last year. Alvin Kamara was getting drafted in like the fifth or sixth round, and he wound up having like a huge fantasy season, catching all these dump offs from Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, and then obviously he's still a great um, running back. You know, I mean
Hmm.
he's a great receiving back, but he's also a great running back. So I think Alvin Kamara getting drafted around 45 is definitely too low. I think Alvin Kamara. We're gonna put out a graphic later on Instagram. You're gonna see I have Alvin Kamara in my top 30 Instagram. I have Alvin Kamara in my top 30 fantasy players.
Hmm.
So him getting drafted at 30 45, if you can get him at 45, that is 100% a steal. Alvin Kamara
Oh
is
yeah.
going to get the volume, and he's still the guy. I mean, sure he's getting older, but he is still the guy down in New Orleans.
Yeah. Little fun fact that is kind of sad as a Saints fan. He's never had 1,000 rushing yards in a season, which is
Yes, that
crazy to think
is
about.
absurd.
And I think last year he was like really, really close
And then he
with
got
three
hurt.
games left, and then he got hurt, which it sucks. Not a lot of people know that he's never had 1,000 rushing yards. He's had 1,000 all-purpose yards, just not rushing
He's
yards.
had well over
Just
1,000 all-purpose
which
yards.
is crazy to think about. So moving on, or I guess I'll start with mine.
Yep, go.
Shout out to Gianni on this one because I know he's gonna really like this pick. Cortland Sutton going off at wide receiver 26. Cortland Sutton's dear to my heart. I had him last year in one of my leagues. I get him mixed up. I was in three leagues last year. Very solid receiver. Well, he will get you 13.7 points week in and week out. He's a solid flex option. Whenever you need him to, like, Bo Nix gets him the ball. It's just plain and simple. Um, Not much else to say on Cortland Sutton. He's a very consistent receiver. Yeah. My next pick, shout out Connor, George Pickens. I
Hey.
think going off at wide receiver 28, I think
Whew.
George Pickens is going to flourish in this Cowboys offense. He actually has a competent quarterback this year. No shade on Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, wait, he didn't throw for Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. I get those mixed up. I'm sorry. He played with a washed Russell Wilson last year, and he had a pretty decent season. I think one of his better seasons so far in the league.
Mm.
Now he's in a good offense with a good scheme, with a good quarterback that's going to get him the ball, and he's got a guy like CeeDee Lamb to take some of the load off of him as wide receiver two. And I fully expect him to have a good year. I would love to take him late rounds, probably like the sixth round. Um, my next one, another shout out to Gianni. Just I wouldn't even like I don't even know where he was read at or listed at. I just like the player, Lad McConkey. That guy
Oh
holds
yeah.
very dear to my heart. He carried my team for a long portion last year. Just I mean, he's unbelievable. A lot of grit out of that guy. He's always in the right spot, catches everything. Speedy receiver.
Knows the
Not I
game.
mean, I knows the game really well. High IQ, a lot of motor. I love Ladd McConkey. I will draft him if he's there. Taking him. I don't care if it's the third or fourth round. I love Ladd McConkey. Um, I could go on and on about him. We could do a whole pod on Ladd McConkey. And then finally, hometown kid, Mason Taylor, the new tight end one for the Jets. At tight end 27, which is kind
Whew.
of crazy. Maybe you don't want to start him early in the year because he's kind of feeling it out in the league, but I think towards the end of the year he could definitely be a solid tight end option. My hot take is he finishes as a top 15 tight end this year with that Jets offense with Justin Fields. So we'll see. And but now we'll start to go to our. So what I did, I thought this was funny. For my title of my thing, I have sleepers versus wide awake. I thought that was kind of clever. Okay, oh my bad. Sorry, I wanted to mention this a shocker that I told Connor about. There is a Devontae Smith was rated wide receiver 27.
I'm glad you
That
mentioned him.
is crazy. He was
Yeah.
behind guys like Cortland Sutton, who I obviously had in my uh my Jesus. top or sleepers, but that's just crazy because Devontae Smith had a very good year last year. He's also behind guys like Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, Rasheed Rice, and Travis Hunter, who's never played a snap in the NFL. That's just crazy to me. I don't understand that. I don't know why uh, Devontae Smith's getting disrespected like that, but I'll be happy to take him in late rounds for sure, if nobody else does. But that's it for that. I'll let Connor take it away with his guys that he's staying away from this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that as a perfect transition to kick off my
Hey,
guys
look
that
at us. Look
I'm
at
staying away
us.
from. Uh, Jamison Williams. Now look,
Really?
he had 1,000 yards last year. Literally, I think it was like 1,000 on the dot. I think 1,001. But the receptions with Jamison Williams are not there. He was 60th in the league in receptions
Hmm.
last year, and he's going ahead of guys like Devontae Smith and Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan, who I just had on my players that I like, and then you just mentioned Devonta Smith. I'm taking Devonta Smith over Jamison Williams 10 times out of 10. I am.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
just the thing with Jamison Williams that scares me, like I said, is the receptions. Sure,
Hmm.
he's gonna catch his long touchdown passes, but I feel like it's too feast or famine with him. Now, sure, if you can get him, uh, maybe like in the ninth round or so, sure, by all means. But I would not take Jamison Williams ahead of guys like Ted McMillan, ahead of guys like Devonta Smith.
Hmm.
Um, so that is my first one. My second one is Xavier Worthy. I think you also are going to have him on here. Yeah, so
Yes, I am.
I have Xavier Worthy. He's getting drafted at wide or at 55th overall, which simply is too high. Same thing with Jameson Williams. The catches are not going to be there. The Chiefs' offense does not work around uh did like a dignified wide receiver one. I mean,
Right.
sure, Rasheed Rice was going to have a big season, but he wasn't going to have the season like a Jamar Chase was going to have.
Yeah.
There are too many people in that Chiefs offense. Mahomes spreads the ball around way too much,
Hmm.
using his tight ends, his tight end twos, his running backs, even guys like Justin Watson. Um, he's a receiver on the Chiefs. He is there. He's an NFL player of all time. But
I
I'm not taking Xavier Worthy inside the top 50 at all.
I
Um,
agree.
next guy I have is don't hate me, but it's Brian Thomas Jr. Look,
Whoa.
I he's I like Brian Thomas Jr. as a player. Obviously, he went to LSU, but he's getting drafted like 15th overall. I just feel like that's slightly too high for him because, like I said, the receptions are not there, and PPR receptions are very important. Now, I'm not saying, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying I don't like BTJ as a fantasy player. Obviously, he had a huge year last year. I don't think that amount of production is repeatable. I don't. Um, I feel like he's still going to have a big season. And then obviously they just brought in Travis Hunter. Who knows what he's going to do? Um, but sure, if you can get Brian Thomas Jr. at 25th, sure. But if not, I really don't like him going 15th overall. I don't. Um, so I don't be expecting me to take Brian Thomas Jr. this year. Uh,
I hold him. He's dear to my heart because he was on my championship winning team last year. So I love Brian Thomas
yeah,
Jr.
no, he had a great year last year,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
My next guy is Quinshawn Judkins. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
before
I
the whole
think that's
fiasco,
self-explanatory.
yeah, I mean before the whole fiasco, Quinshon Judkins, I think he could have probably went like 45th overall, something like that. Because I
Hmm.
mean he was going to be the guy in Cleveland, but obviously with his off the field antics, I don't think anybody really should draft Quinshon Judkins with too high a pick. Maybe a late round steal. Um, who knows? Maybe it comes out he didn't do whatever he did. I don't know,
There's
but.
a pretty clear video of
Yeah,
him
no, I
doing
know, but I'm just saying, like late round, you want to take a flyer on Quinn Judd, kids, go for it, but don't take him in the top 6 rounds
no.
or even like top 8 rounds. And then my final guy is DJ Moore. I had DJ Moore last year, and it didn't really work out. I The main reason I'm doing this is because I am a big believer in Romo Dunze. I feel like this is the year he steps up as a sophomore. This will be his second year in the league. Um, And DJ Moore last year was just way too inconsistent. I mean, that whole Bears team,
Hmm.
the honestly the Bears really do scare me this year, but I feel like Rome Odunze, with where he would be getting drafted, is more valuable than DJ Moore will be.
Hmm.
So that concludes my
Yeah.
five
Um,
players that I don't love.
I'm gonna touch on some of the guys you said real quick. I kind of disagree with you on the DJ Moore just because Ben Johnson's there, and I do kind of want to see that first with the new
Mm.
revamped offense. But yeah, he was way too inconsistent last year. I definitely see where you're coming
He's getting
from.
DJ Moore's getting drafted over like DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's like 52,
Okay.
DJ Moore's like
Uh,
45, and I 100% would rather DK Metcalf.
yeah, I see where you're coming from. I'm going to touch on two guys who I think are very similar that you said. It's Jamison Williams and Xavier Worthy, who that's actually who I have on mine, Xavier Worthy. They're kind of deep ball merchants, especially
Yeah,
Jamison
exactly.
Williams. Like Jamison Williams either had 3.4 points or 24 points last year on two catches for 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think of Jamison Williams. He would definitely be on my list if I thought about him. But I did put Xavier Worthy on my list, kind of what you just said. The Chiefs offense is so weird. Doesn't matter who they have, they're going to spread the ball out.
It's so weird. The
And
Chiefs
which will
offense is so
tie into
weird.
my next player. Yeah, that'll tie into my next player, which I'll get into. But Xavier Worthy, especially with Rashee Rice coming back, that's just going to divvy up the targets even more.
Yeah.
Now Xavier Worthy, he'll probably have a couple weeks where he has 2 points because he'll catch a deep ball for a touchdown or two. But I would stay away from he's going off the wide receiver 18. I would definitely stay away from that. I'd wait till later rounds to maybe grab him, which happened
And you
for me
said
last year. And
Pickens
he,
was wide receiver 27?
yeah, no,
That is
28,
28.
28.
Whew.
Devontae Smith's 27. That's crazy. And then the next player, as I was saying, is another Chiefs player, is Travis Kelce, who's tight end five right now. Now, I might be a little salty because I took Travis Kelce last year and he was god awful for me in one of the leagues that I did not win. Almost lost, actually. That's enough about me. Travis Kelce's getting old. He had his worst statistical season last year. And I like same as or Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice is coming back, and Mahomes likes to divvy his targets up. Obviously, Kelsey's his favorite target, so he's probably. I mean, I would expect him to have a solid year, but I don't think he's going to be tight at five. I think he's going to be have his one of his down years. I'm pretty sure he's already said on one of his podcasts that his career is kind of dwindling down. This might be his last year. He kind of hinted at that. If they win the Super Bowl, he said this is his last year.
Whoa.
Um, that's kind of crazy to think about that Travis Kelce's going to be gone after this year, possibly. Um, but yeah, him and Xavier Worthy kind of on the same tier as guys I'm kind of staying away from early. Um, Next guy that I'm staying away from earlier, super early, and this might be be a little controversial. Similar to what Connor said about Brian Thomas, I'm staying away from CMC early, early, early. I'm
Wow.
talking like top, like first round, top of the first round. He's coming off, I think, what would he tear both Achilles last
Oh
year,
yeah,
something like
he
that.
messed up his legs. I don't remember what it was, but
And like even when he played, he was pretty good. But I'm not taking him in the first round, no chance. Especially if I have a top five, top six pick. I'm not saying I don't like him. If he's there in the second or third round, I'm 100% taking him.
I
It's
don't
just
hate
I'm
that.
not wasting a top pick on CMC with the injury history, and he's getting older.
Mm.
Um, Next guy, okay, I'm gonna save that. So my next guy is Tyler Warren, who I originally had as my sleeper until I remembered that his quarterback situation is atrocious. It's Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, and Tyler Warren's going off as tight end 14, which might not seem like too high, but that's kind of crazy. That he's going off at tight end 14 with when he has a really bad quarterback situation that Daniel Jones might be throwing him the ball. Now he is versatile. He's kind of like a Taysom Hill-esque type of player, which
We saw
could
that at
benefit
Penn State. Yep.
him. I don't know what the Colts are going to do with him. I don't really follow Indianapolis football very much. Um, but yeah, and then my final player, which is just absolutely absurd. This isn't even a guy that I'm staying away from. It's just ridiculous. Shedeur Sanders is rated above a quarterback's. I want you to listen to the quarterbacks he's rated above: Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Geno Smith. Three, I would say, solidified starters. We don't know about Russell Wilson, but two other guys that are going to start, and Geno Smith is a pretty good fantasy quarterback. That Shedeur Sanders, who's not even starting for the Browns, is rated ahead. That is just unbelievable. The nepotism with that whole family is ridiculous. Shout out Shea Gillis. But yeah, that's our sleepers and guys are staying away with in fantasy. I can't wait for this fantasy season.
Oh
Looking to
yeah.
defend my title in two of my leagues. But yeah, any final words, Connor, before we go?
I
Try.
I actually for some reason kind of believe in Tyler Warren. I feel like he could catch a bunch of just like dump offs, check downs.
Yeah,
Literally just because, like you said, the quarterback situation is that bad. I feel
it's a good
like
point.
they'll panic and just dump it off to the tight end. I mean, he's going to be the main tight end, um, but no, I mean that's pretty much all I got. You want to get into the Saints' new uniforms?
Um, yeah, you mentioned that you kind of like him. I really don't know how to feel about him. It looks weird, maybe just because it's a gold uniform and we haven't seen that. Um, Now they're probably gonna grow on me when I see him in game. But like first glance, it was kind of weird. I didn't really know how to think. It was eh. But I don't know. If it helps us win games, let's please wear them every single week. But it's not. So I'd say they're a solid like 7 right now. Probably
Yeah,
they got to
that
grow on me.
that's honestly probably what I'd give him. The reason I like him is because I've been wanting a gold jersey for a while, and we
Yeah.
finally got it. Now the Saints have done some very weird combinations with their jerseys over the past couple of years.
Hmm.
Like they've gone. Uh, there was a very strange one last year.
The
I,
black helmets.
yes, the black helmets and then like the white jerseys. It just doesn't look good.
No.
I don't like the black helmets. I think they should scratch that and just stick to the gold. I mean, I love those gold helmets. I mean, I know they're,
Hmm.
you know, normal, typical, but they're
Am I,
classic.
yeah, am I crazy to think that the new helmets and new jerseys are not going to go together? I
That
don't think they like
they
a
put
white.
like the black helmets or the
No,
white
no, no,
helmets. The
the
white
white helmet. I
helmets.
don't think they better never wear the black helmets again. Those are atrocious.
Yeah, they're
But
terrible.
I don't think the white helmet with the gold jersey and black pants just doesn't look good to me.
Too much.
Like,
There's too much colors. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. It just another question mark for the Saints. I like the jersey, so I like how they're uh doing more. There's kind of like some variety within
Hmm.
the franchise, but I don't know. I guess we'll just see what they decide to roll out on the field.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for episode 30. Pretty small, but significant milestone for us.
Yeah.
Didn't know if we'd get this far. We didn't know how this would go, but the reason we're still here is because y'all are still here watching it. All of
And we
our, I
like doing
guess,
it, of
yeah,
course.
we love doing it. I guess it's kind of weird to say our fans because we do have a couple, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. But we appreciate everybody, people who've been coming up to me and saying, "Hey, we like your podcast." You have no idea how much that means to me
Oh yeah.
and Connor. Just to we love the support. Keep it coming. We'll never get tired of it. More things coming in the future. We have a special guest tomorrow, which we're not
Yes,
going
we
to
do.
mention his name. Very special guest. Please tune in tomorrow. You will not regret it. But yeah, that's it. Any final words
No, I
before
mean
we head out of here,
no, that's all I got.
Connor?
Yeah, we're good. Kind of glitched a little bit there,
Okay. All right.
um
Oh,
but
okay.
no, tomorrow tune in. It's going to be a fun one.
Hmm.
Us and this guest we have a lot in common. So it'll be interesting, certainly, to ask him a few questions. But that's all I got, and we're gonna upload tomorrow, and we should be able to do one Thursday. But this weekend we're gonna take off because I'm
Hmm.
going on vacation, and so is Brock actually. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Just for a few days. We'll have one out the next 2 days probably, and then we'll take 3 days. So from just one final thing, starting next week and probably for the foreseeable future, we're gonna start putting out longer videos, but 3 times a week. So
yeah,
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
and
That's
then
gonna be
shorts and TikToks within
yeah,
those
that's gonna be
days.
our scheduled times. Yeah, kind of exactly what you just said. So look out for that. Anybody who wants to wait, never mind. I don't know where I was going with that. Thank you for coming back, episode 30. We'll see y'all later. Possible IRL videos coming in the future too.
For
That's
sure.
what I was trying to say.
Yep.
Um, Stay tuned for that. Kind of like be picking up a golf club for the first time in life. I'll see you
Yikes.
later. Peace.
See ya.